Hey, welcome to Introductory Psychology. I am your host, your instructor, John Chansey, and currently I've got photo booth up right now, so you can see my face. You can put a face to the voice you're hearing. But in a moment, I'm actually capturing my screen right now, which is weird. You can't. I'm capturing my screen right now. So what I'm doing is I'm also going to show you around Canvas in a minute, so you won't see my face in just a second, but I wanted you to at least see it momentarily. That way, you can, again, put a face to the voice. So welcome to Introductory Psychology. I am your host, your instructor, John Chansey. This is my OSU OKC. Just a little bit about myself. I'm an adjunct instructor here at OSU OKC, but I'm also a graduate student at the University of Oklahoma. I'm in my last year as a graduate student, psychology at OU with my advisor and mentor, Dr. Ben Hetty. I'm currently writing my dissertation and applying for jobs at universities and schools across the country. So might sprinkle in some good news here and there as that sort of progresses on my side of things. But I've taught introductory psychology, lifespan development in the past, teaching courses at OU involving educational psychology. Prior to being a grad student, I was a high school psychology teacher at Putnam City North High School for 3 years. Taught AP and on-level psychology. So total, I have about 7 years of teaching psychology. So it's something I really love and enjoy and have a strong passion for. So I'm hoping maybe in this introductory course, you can start to develop your own sort of passion as well. So anyways, this is an introductory course, as you can tell from the title of the course, Introductory Psychology or Introduction to Psychology, I think is what it's called. So it's going to be a nice broad overview of the topics of psychology. We're really not going to dive too deep in any one topic, but you're going to get a nice sort of exposure to a number of different topics that are important in psychology, sort of foundational in psychology. So, of course, if you decide you want to take courses, if there's something that interests you in this introductory course, oftentimes there are, individual courses that you can take as well. So something to consider. All right, so now enough about me and enough about the course. We're going to have plenty of time to talk about those things and more as we go along, but I want to show you a little bit about Canvas because that's, as an online class, we're going to be working exclusively through Canvas. So I'm going to show you this video. I'm going to send out another video later highlighting what to expect for week 1 and chapter 1. But the first thing I want to show you, so I'm going to take this down. I take photo booth down. You're not going to see me anymore, but you'll hear my voice. So I'm on Canvas, and the first thing I want to show you is our schedule, which is subject to change, but since this is an online class, whoops, I got to log in, sorry. Got to log in, so you get to watch me log in, which I know is really exciting. But anyways, here is Canvas, here's our schedule as it loads up. You can download this if you just click here, click on download. This will allow you to access this, but here is the schedule week by week. It talks about obviously the week, any important events, like obviously on Monday we are closed for Martin Luther King Day, but you can kind of scroll through and see any other important weeks, like spring break is the 9th week, campus will be closed. But this next block, assignments, is really important. Talks about the chapters you'll need to read, which will be found in the box over. You're also going to have to, this schedule will let you know when certain assignments are due. Like week 1, you have a discussion post due, and you also have a response paper due, and I'll talk more about what those are in just a moment. But typically, most weeks, you're going to either have both or one or the other. You're either going to be having a discussion post and a response paper, or you're going to have one or the other. But you can kind of look and go through week by week. You can see when we have exams, like our first exam is going to be week 4, and you can kind of prepare accordingly, but make sure you take a look at the schedule. It says subject to change, but since we're an online class, I seriously doubt that it will change significantly. But now I'm going over to the syllabus. You are responsible for reading the syllabus. I'm going to kind of briefly talk about a few things in the syllabus, but by all means, you still need to read it. Of course, again, I'm your instructor, John Chansey. I don't have office hours. I don't have an office technically, but if you do want to reach out to me, contact me via email, john.b as in boy.chansey at Oklahoma State or oakstate.edu. We can set up a Skype time, or if we really need it, if you absolutely had to meet on campus, my schedule, I can probably work around and potentially meet you on campus, like, where the spot where you can buy coffee, for example, that kind of that student lounge area, perhaps we can meet. But again, my schedule is pretty busy, so I would need you to kind of work with me on that and give me plenty of notice. So here's just a broad, general description of the course. Our textbook, we are using the Hockenberry text, which I posted a video under announcements. I'll go back and show you that, or I posted an announcement where you can find that textbook and which textbook you should be using. So please make sure you get a copy of that. You should already have one. Here's the breakdown of our points. We'll have 4 exams worth 100 points each. We have 8 response papers as well as 8 discussions. They're worth 15 points each. So 120 points from response papers, another 120 from your online discussions. There's also a scholarly article, which is 60 points. I'll talk more about that. You'll have to find an article related to psychology, provide a short write-up, and we'll talk more about that as we get closer. So take a look at some of these other things. Your scholarly article talks about it here, your response papers. Basically, every week, I'm going to assign a video, like a TED Talk, and I'll want you to watch it and respond to certain questions. And the question format will be the same every time. I'll want you to describe what you saw in the video in your own words. Tell me something you found interesting, and then tell me some kind of personal connection you're able to relate to the video. So that's the typical format, and I'll explain more about that. Discussion posts, again, we will have 8 of those throughout the semester, and for the discussion posts, you will need to provide your initial post by Wednesday in order to receive full credit. So if I assign a post on Sunday or at the latest Monday, you'll need to respond to that, with a pretty thoughtful response of at least 2 paragraphs, as you can kind of see here, at least 2 paragraphs. And then you'll have until the following Friday. You'll have until Friday, excuse me. So if your initial post by Wednesday, you'll have until Friday to respond to your peers. And when I say respond to your peers, I don't want you to just say, hey, great post, thanks for sharing, and that's it. I want you to maybe ask questions or make connections, talk about, provide some comments or evidence or suggestions or questions, something to kind of keep the conversation going. So in order to receive full credit for discussion posts, you will need to make your initial post on time to keep the conversation going and respond to your peers. So late work, here you go. And late work, including examinations, your response papers, all late work will be deducted 20% for each day that it's missing. So if let's say you miss an exam, if an exam is due by, it's due by a certain date and you're late by a day, you're automatically going to lose 20%, which isn't terrible, but it does make your chances of making a good grade pretty, diminish pretty significantly. And after 5 days, you would receive a 0. So I, of course, will make exceptions for documented illnesses or anything else that's documented, like a funeral, for example, something that you have documentation. But just be aware that a lot of this stuff is being done online. So really there should not be a whole lot of reasons for missing work. But please, if you communicate and stay in contact with me, I will work with you and try to help you as best I can. But be aware that the policy is 20% off for each day an assignment is missing, including examinations. I'm just kind of scrolling through and seeing if there's anything specific that I want to go over. Most of this is just stuff that you'll need to read through kind of on your own. So please take a look at that. You are responsible for all material in the syllabus. So another thing I want to quickly point out, how to email your professor. I don't think this will be a problem in this course, but I show this to my students every time. If you're going to email your professor, here are some rules. Use your college or university email. Use a subject line. Try to address your instructors directly. Hello, Dr. Jones. Hello, Mr. Chansey. Whatever, however you want to describe it. Try to be polite, be succinct. Talk about the point. Keep your message short and to the point. Be specific. And try not to argue. That's not the place to argue. But anyways, just look over this document and as you're emailing myself or any of your other instructors, I think this would be useful going forward. Some of you, this may be one of your earliest college courses. Others, maybe you're kind of a veteran, a pro at this, so to speak. But just make sure that you read over that document maybe before sending myself or your other instructors an email. Also, I put up a guideline for discussion posts, what I expect. So your initial post, so you're going to have to do your initial post plus 2 peer responses for each discussion post. So again, your initial post needs to be at least 2 paragraphs in length. Paragraphs should be about 4 sentences, 4 to 5 sentences roughly. And that's going to be due almost every, anytime we have a discussion, it's going to be due Wednesday. And the reason why it's due Wednesday is to keep that flow of conversation going. By adding a component of timeliness into the grading of the discussion post, this kind of forces the conversation to kind of stay lively and active and keep people participating. Because what I've noticed in the past before I've used this strategy is that sometimes you would have students who they would wait until Friday, they would make their post, and then respond to 2 people's posts. And again, if you're waiting till Friday, you're not giving other people the opportunity to kind of read your words and thoughts and respond accordingly. So I like to do that. If you don't turn in your initial post by Wednesday, you'll be deducted 2 points and you won't have a chance to make an A on that particular discussion assignment. Already talked about peer responses. They need to be more than just a simple, hey, nice post, move on. Make sure you're asking questions or, making inferences, providing comments or suggestions, which, make sure you read over this document. Your posts, of course, your peer posts are due by Friday at 11:59 p.m. So in order to earn 15 points out of 15, you need to turn in your initial post by Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. and then comment and respond to 2 of your peers' posts by Friday at 11:59 p.m. So make sure you look at that document as well. I'm not going to go over all of it right now. I want you to take a look at response paper handout because we're going to be doing 8 of those throughout the semester. Again, I'm going to send you a video to watch. And this is the format you'll be using. You can use this document every week if you'd like. Oops, I think I put did I? Peer handout. Sorry, did I click on the wrong? I must have just clicked on the wrong one. Here we go. My bad. Sorry, folks. So you're going to include your name, the date, and then, here are the prompts that I want you to do for response papers. Give me a summary of it says reading, but really it's a viewing. Give me a summary of what you've just seen, like in a TED Talk. Tell me something you found surprising or interesting. And then also tell me some kind of personal connection you made, something that connects to your everyday experience. This is really going to help you really essentially learn the content in this course. If you can connect it to your own direct experiences, then it's going to stick with you in terms of memory, in terms of learning, in terms of understanding. So it's not just the stuff we're reading in the textbook and moving on with our lives, but we're actually trying to make connections with this stuff. So that's the purpose of this assignment. So again, you can use this response paper document throughout the semester, and I highly recommend doing so. I also want to mention again, I made an announcement. Some of you may not have seen it. If you haven't, no big deal, but I posted an announcement. The textbook for the course, again, is going to be the Hockenberry Nolan Psychology text, the 8th edition. I'm going to click on this link to Amazon. By no means, you don't have to go to Amazon to get this textbook. I just want you to be aware of where to find it. So this is the textbook here. You can rent it. You can go to the library and get it, like on temporary, like loan it and use it in the library to read. Like, Amazon says you can rent it for $33. If you can find somewhere cheaper, great. You can buy it new for about $100. If you can find it cheaper, great. I don't care. I don't make a dime off of this. I don't care where you get it from, but just you do need to have a copy of the textbook sooner rather than later because we are going to hit the ground running and you're going to need to be able to read the textbook right away. We're gonna get started on chapter 1 this week. So anyways, this first video, I know it's kind of longer. Most videos will not be this long, but I'm just kind of showing you around Canvas. This is the place where you'll take quizzes. I haven't set it up yet, but I'm going to put up practice quizzes for every chapter that you can take and make sure you understand the material before you actually take the exam. So just be aware of that. I'll post those soon. They won't count against your grade or for your grade. They're just there for you to kind of check your comprehension and make sure, okay, do I understand this? They're quick. They're 10 questions. You can take them multiple times to just, again, kind of check your comprehension. So Anyways, if you have questions about the contents, the general course information, please shoot me an email. John.b as in boy.chancey at Oklahoma State, Oak State at ed.edu, and I'll be happy to get back to you as soon as possible. Anyways, I'm going to send out another video kind of covering week 1, in chapter 1. So make sure you watch that video as well. All right, everyone, have a good day. All right, bye.